Congo. Huge, dark, straddling the equator in the very heart of Africa. Untamed, uncompromising, and unreported until now. A deadly shootout in Congo's capital, Kinshasa. In a city which often lives by the gun, this is just another day. As rival militias slug it out on the streets, two men were battling at the ballot box for the presidency. This man won.
The first priority is peace and stability.
But the loser claimed his rival rigged the vote.
Que je ne peux pas accepter ces résultats.
Dangerous words in a volatile country like Congo, especially when renegade warlords are stirring the pot.
We are in a good position to win this war.
But the real losers, millions of battle-weary Congolese, the poorest of people living in potentially the richest country on earth.
It's a circle of vicious poverty that I don't know how you can get out of.
This is Congo's story. Its suffering and the struggle for democracy. Hello, I'm John Cookson in Kinshasa. In October, millions of Congolese went to the polls to vote for their first democratically elected president in more than 40 years of chaos and war. In the first half of this program, we look at the grave issues facing the leadership of this extraordinary country. One of the biggest challenges is Congo is awash with weapons. You can buy an AK-47 for just $10 US. The Congolese say you can start a war here for 500. It felt like someone had when we began making this film. We were at the headquarters of presidential candidate Jean-Pierre Bemba when all hell broke loose. The building was suddenly under attack from rockets and bullets. 4 people were killed this day, 4 more to add to the 4 million who've already died in Congo's recent conflicts. And we don't know what happened to these two. They were caught outside Bemba's headquarters and accused of spying. We soon understood Congo can be a brutal place. After the issue of violent political division, the second challenge for Congo is the country's extreme poverty and lack of infrastructure. Congo's big, the size of Western Europe. Paved roads are rare and simple journeys can take days. Millions of Congolese live without running water and electricity. And yet, and here's the irony, Congo's potentially very rich. Its vast unexploited mineral wealth, like diamonds and gold, estimated at $23 trillion. But that wealth is both a blessing and a curse. For decades, rival warlords battled to secure control of the mines. The brutal civil war between 1998 and 2002 drew in neighboring countries like Uganda and Rwanda. Now the conflict's over, but not the grinding poverty suffered by Congolese working in the mines today. None more so than at La Folie gold mine in the far northeast. It was named La Folie from the French word for madness. Locals told me anyone who worked here for long eventually loses their mind. Mud sucks at their feet. Muscles are torn by the sheer weight of muck and slurry. They have to shift a chunk of mountain to find a few grains of gold. No gold, and they don't get paid. This youngster told me he earns the equivalent of 35 US cents a day, if he's lucky. He says, "This is my life doing this. There's nothing else." Close by, we discovered an illegal gold mine running deep underground. Congolese poor virtually live down here in this stinking, flooded and dangerous labyrinth. The only light from candles and their own flashlights. This young miner, who said he was 15, was supporting his entire family after his father died. As his fellow miners listened, you could see the despair and hopelessness. While they toil below for just a few US cents a day, on the surface it's a different story. In sleazy gold towns like Mungwalu, business is booming. The gold the miners broke their backs for is already trading at $20 US a gram. By the time it's been smuggled out through neighboring Uganda to markets like London, the price will have soared again. A sum unimaginable by the miners of La Folie, who seem to epitomize the enigma of Congo. Such a rich country, yet the wealth earned by the sweat of its poorest people ends up in the hands of smugglers, foreign governments and corporations. Some Congolese families are so poor they can't afford to feed their children. And in despair, they come to United Nations feeding centers. Each month, nuns here in Goma feed around 4,000 babies, including Vanessa, 12 months old, born in mineral-rich Congo, and still she starves. The World Food Programme's Awash. How come we have this scandal here?
That's the biggest contradiction and the saddest thing about it, that this country is so rich and yet the people are so poor they can't even feed themselves.
So who's to blame?
That's a hard question. It's a question maybe that we can apply to all of Africa, but it's a circle of vicious poverty that I don't know how you can get out of.
While Congo wrestles with poverty and political instability, there's a third challenge lurking in the forests of the east. Warlords have traditionally ruled this region. Perhaps the most notorious, Laurent Nkunda, who agreed to meet us at a secret jungle hideout. He's wanted for heinous war crimes. There's an arrest warrant for his capture and transportation to the International Court of Justice in The Hague.
Why they can bring me to The Hague? It's not a solution.
Let's talk about those allegations. I mean, when I read them, they turned my stomach. You know, I even felt as if I would be uncomfortable sitting with you here now. You are charged with murder, torture, massacre. These are terrible crimes, even cannibalism of your guys.
I think it's not true. It is not true. You are in our area. If you want, you can move and see the population. They are going to give you...
He denied all the charges and claimed he'd struck a deal with the new president not to be handed over to face trial, in return for maintaining an iron grip on the east.
I'm not a threat against the population of Congo because our area is the most secured area. We are not a threat against the international policies.
But within days of this interview, Nkunda's men were advancing on the city of Goma and were only halted when United Nations forces moved in. Laurent Nkunda is clearly a serious challenge to the rule of law in Congo's emerging democracy. country racked with violence and political division, people crippled by poverty. These are the challenges facing Congo's newly re-elected president. Coming up, I actually meet President Joseph Kabila in his first and only television interview following his landslide win. Why do you think you're a fit and proper person to run a united Congo?